Hey warriors, take a moment and really look around you. The modern world has engineered a new form of slavery, not physical chains, but mental ones. People scroll endlessly, jumping from one thought to the next, unable to sit with a single idea for even 5 minutes without their minds, craving stimulation. Their attention is fractured, their energy scattered, and their thinking quietly shaped by whatever the crowd is shouting today. You can see it in their eyes, a haze, a dull emptiness, a silent inner storm. They no longer think, they simply react. And that, my friend, is where power begins to disappear. Your mind isn't weak because you're lazy. It's weak because it's overcrowded. Crowded with opinions, drowned in gossip, overwhelmed by constant alerts demanding your attention every few seconds. You are not exhausted. You are overloaded. You are not lacking motivation. You are lacking focus. And inside that confusion, your true potential slowly drains away without you even noticing. Machiavelli understood this long before the digital age. He recognized that the most dangerous individual is not the strongest or the wealthiest, but the one who can think with clarity. He famously observed that the wise act immediately on what the foolish delay. The real divide between wisdom and foolishness is clarity, the ability to slice through noise and identify what truly matters. As your mind sharpens, your control over life strengthens. Your choices, your actions, your destiny. Picture a blade. A dull blade bends, cracks and fails under pressure, but a sharp blade cuts cleanly, effortlessly, with precision. Your mind is that blade. Every distraction dulls it. Every moment of deep focus sharpens it. So ask yourself, how sharp will you make your mind today? You're not just here to learn how to think better. You're here to learn how to think differently. To use dark psychology to fortify your focus, eliminate mental weakness, and rise above the endless noise of the ordinary world. You'll begin to see what Machiavelli saw, that the true game of power is played inside the mind, in silence, discipline, and controlled thought. By the end of this video, you won't just understand focus, you will become focus, calm, cold, intentional, because once you master your own mind, no one can manipulate you, confuse you, or pull you off course. You'll see through illusions. You'll anticipate moves before they're made. You'll evolve into a quiet strategist in a world addicted to noise. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. My mind is my weapon. Number 1, the true power of focus. Focus is not motivation. It is control in its purest state. The average mind drifts endlessly from one impulse to the next, reacting, scrolling, chasing stimulation without awareness. It doesn't even realize when attention becomes fractured, fragile and easy to influence. But a disciplined mind does not move with noise, it moves with intention. Every second of focused attention is a statement of dominance over confusion. The truth is simple: the sharper the focus, the stronger the mind. Machiavelli once stated, "He who desires obedience must know how to command." The same principle applies to thought. A weak mind obeys distraction. A powerful mind commands its attention like a silent ruler over chaos. Distraction doesn't destroy people instantly. It erodes them slowly, moment by moment, until deep thinking disappears. Most people mistake busyness for effectiveness. They rush through life collecting half-formed ideas, confusing constant motion with real progress. But true strength comes from stillness, from the ability to channel mental energy toward a single objective while the rest of the world chases noise. Focus is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters and cutting away everything else without hesitation. Every scattered thought leaks power. Every controlled thought strengthens it. Those who understand focus do not waste attention on trivial opinions or passing emotions. They operate from silence, not noise. Their calm presence is unsettling because it exposes control in a world driven by impulse. When others panic, they remain steady. When others speak endlessly, they observe. That composure is not weakness, it is intelligence in motion. Machiavelli warned that people judge more with their eyes than with their hands. A person who moves with quiet certainty doesn't need to explain or prove anything. Power is already visible in the way they hold their focus. True focus is built through subtraction, not addition. It strengthens as unnecessary stimulation is removed. The fewer distractions allowed into the mind, the sharper it becomes. This process is uncomfortable because silence reveals everything that noise once concealed. But clarity is born in that silence. And with clarity comes precision, patience, and control. Most minds are like open windows. Everything enters freely. But the mind that learns to close its doors to nonsense becomes unshakable. Focus reshapes perception. As concentration deepens, decisions become faster and cleaner. Emotional chaos loses its grip. Attention no longer bends under pressure. It moves only by choice. That is the signature of a powerful mind, deliberate awareness. Such presence is rare and magnetic. People sense it. They respect it, even if they can't explain why. Because in a world addicted to reaction, calm concentration feels like authority. Machiavelli believed clarity creates command. A mind that knows exactly what it wants does not compete. It directs. Focused awareness shapes environments, influences others, and builds silent respect without demanding it. This is invisible control, power that doesn't shout, yet alters everything through quiet precision. A clear mind is never loud, but it is always felt. In the age of distraction, focus is the highest form of power. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. Calm is control. Number 2, subtractive thinking. Remove before you add. The modern mind worships addition. People believe that learning more, reading more, consuming more information, chasing more goals, and absorbing endless content will make them wiser. But the mind does not become sharper through accumulation. It becomes sharper through elimination. Clarity is not discovered in what you gain. It is revealed in what you remove. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He observed that the wise act immediately, while the foolish delay. The fool keeps stacking complexity upon complexity, until the mind collapses under its own weight. The wise strip away the unnecessary, exposing the structure of truth beneath. Mental strength is not built by learning endlessly, but by removing what weakens understanding. Most confusion is self-created. The mind fills itself with noise disguised as knowledge, opinions, trends, gossip, useless advice, constant alerts, and the emotional residue of other people's chaos. Every piece of it drains mental energy. The sharp thinker understands that every distraction tolerated is a small surrender of control. Subtractive thinking is the discipline of cutting before creating, clearing before building. It requires precision, removing false beliefs, detaching from meaningless influences, and stripping away excess until only what truly matters remains. This process is uncomfortable because the human mind fears emptiness. Yet it is in that emptiness that real insight is born. Imagine the mind as a blade coated in dust. Every fragment of noise dulls its edge. The only way to restore sharpness is to remove what doesn't belong. This is why powerful thinkers value solitude. It is not loneliness, it is mental purification. In stillness, illusions dissolve. What remains is raw thought, unfiltered, strong, and direct. Subtractive thinking is not passive. It is ruthless. It cuts through sentiment, ego, and attachment. It questions everything until clarity stands alone. Most people avoid this because it forces them to confront their own mental clutter. But Machiavelli's wisdom was forged through observation, not comfort. He understood that truth often hides beneath layers of self-deception. The removal process begins with awareness, useless conversations, emotional entanglements, constant comparison. Each must be identified and rejected. This form of mental discipline is rare because it takes strength to walk away from noise that others depend on. Society glorifies addition because it feels productive, but real progress begins when the unnecessary is stripped away. Subtractive thinking is like clearing fog from a mirror. Suddenly, everything becomes visible. When excess disappears, thought gains precision. Decisions become clean. Time is no longer wasted on irrelevant details. Those who master this approach appear mysterious. They speak less, yet say more. They act selectively, not constantly. Their restraint is often mistaken for coldness, when in reality it is clarity. Machiavelli understood restraint as a form of control, knowing when not to move, when not to speak, when not to act. He wrote that conflict cannot be avoided, only delayed to the advantage of others. Applied to the mind, this means chaos cannot be escaped by ignoring it. It must be managed by removing what feeds it. When the mind is stripped of clutter, external chaos loses its power. Subtractive thinking turns intelligence into precision. The fewer distractions allowed, the sharper perception becomes. It is the discipline of simplicity, not emptiness, but concentrated awareness. Those who practice it move through life with quiet efficiency, untouched by noise, clear in purpose. Nothing can confuse a mind that has learned to let go of what is unnecessary. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. Less is clarity. Number 3. Control your mind, control your life. Every form of external power begins with internal command. A person who cannot govern their own mind becomes a puppet of emotion, impulse, and circumstance. The illusion of balance convinces people they can divide attention between comfort and power, but comfort weakens control. True strength is found in the discipline to rule thoughts, even when emotions demand chaos. Machiavelli once said, "The first way to measure the intelligence of a ruler is by the people he keeps around him." The same principle applies inward. The companions of the mind are its thoughts. If those thoughts are weak, the ruler is weak. Mental command is the foundation of personal authority, and without it, every external achievement eventually collapses. The modern mind is constantly torn apart by external triggers. Fear manipulates decisions. Anger distorts judgment. Anxiety steals presence. People confuse reaction with awareness. They are not thinking, they are responding. But the individual who learns to observe the mind from a distance, rather than drowning in its waves, begins to notice patterns invisible to others. That separation between thought and self creates dominance. Emotions still arise, but they no longer dictate movement. Power lives in the pause. Within that pause, clarity speaks louder than impulse. A mind that obeys emotion becomes a servant. A mind that commands emotion becomes a ruler. Machiavelli warned that chaos often disguises itself as opportunity. He wrote that those who seek constant success must adapt their conduct to the times. A controlled mind does exactly this. It adapts without losing its core. Under pressure, it adjusts rather than panics. When challenged, it recalculates instead of collapsing. Emotions become information, not disorder. Most people allow feelings to drive actions and later regret the consequences. Those who practice control act only after thought, never before. Their calm under tension is not natural. It is trained through countless moments of restraint. The ability to remain unmoved while everything around is shaking is the signature of true control. To master the mind is to master attention, emotion, and time. Attention determines what is noticed. Emotion determines how it is interpreted. Time determines when action is taken. Together, they form the structure of self-governance. Lose control of anyone and weakness appears. This is why powerful individuals rarely react. Publicly, they conserve energy by remaining deliberate. The mind cannot be ruled by desire alone. It requires structure. Habits provide that structure. Consistent self-observation builds predictability, and predictability builds strength. Over time, the mind begins to follow command naturally, obeying the discipline it has been shaped by. Mental control sharpens perception. When thoughts no longer run unchecked, awareness expands. Patterns in human behavior become obvious. Manipulation becomes visible. Emotional traps lose their grip. Those who govern their inner world begin influencing their outer world effortlessly. Authority grows in silence. The less control is displayed, the more powerful it becomes. Machiavelli understood that visible emotion invites exploitation, while composure creates mystery, and mystery creates influence. People fear what they cannot read, and a controlled mind is unreadable. Control of the mind is not coldness. It is refinement. It is the transformation of chaos into clarity, of reaction into command. The one who governs thought governs destiny. Every empire, every conquest, every revolution begins in the quiet discipline of an organized mind. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. Control creates power. Number 4, precision thinking. Precision thinking is the difference between motion and impact. Most people scatter their energy in countless directions, achieving partial results and calling it progress. The sharper mind does the opposite. It selects one clear objective and directs every ounce of focus toward it until reality bends in response. Machiavelli once wrote, "It is better to act and repent than not to act and regret." Precision is not hesitation, it is deliberate action guided by calculation, not emotion. Every great strategist understands this truth. One perfectly timed decision outweighs 1,000 impulsive efforts. The real power of thinking lies not in speed, but in accuracy. A mind without precision is like a blade without an edge, full of potential, yet unable to cut through resistance. Precision begins with observation. It is the ability to recognize patterns hidden beneath chaos, to notice details others ignore, and to connect events before they unfold. Loose thinkers rely on luck. Accurate thinkers create outcomes. Machiavellian psychology teaches that control is achieved not through force, but through understanding. When the mind can analyze motives, anticipate moves, and measure timing, it no longer competes, it dominates quietly. Precision is economy, speaking less, moving less, deciding less, but executing each action flawlessly. Average minds are addicted to activity. Superior minds are addicted to results. The precision-trained thinker operates like a surgeon, one clean incision, no wasted motion. This discipline demands patience, because acting at the wrong moment destroys advantage. The impatient chase opportunities, the precise create them. Machiavelli believed the wise ruler adapts with the times without losing direction. The same rule governs thought. The precise thinker adjusts to new information without sacrificing clarity. Adaptation without loss of purpose is mastery. Precision requires distance from emotion. When thinking becomes entangled with personal feeling, judgment clouds. The calm observer, detached from fear and excitement, sees what others miss. This detachment is not indifference, it is strategy. Silence is often mistaken for hesitation, but in truth it is preparation, the gathering of data before decisive action. The precise mind does not speak before understanding, does not move before calculating, and does not commit before confirming. This restraint creates the illusion of slowness, but when action comes, it lands perfectly. Every mistake made by others becomes a map. Failure is studied, not feared. Each error becomes instruction. Machiavelli wrote that the wise act immediately while the foolish delay. Precision embodies that principle. Clear, measured, decisive. While others drown in options, the precise thinker sees only the target. Precision thinking builds quiet authority. People trust those who never rush, who move with calm confidence. That focus radiates invisible power. Precision is ultimate intelligence. Not loud, not reactive, but exact. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Precision is power. Number 5, emotional immunity. Remain unshaken. Emotional immunity is the silent armor of powerful minds. Most people collapse under their own emotions, allowing words, rejection, or disappointment to dictate their mental state. They become predictable, provocable, controllable. The moment emotion takes command, judgment disappears. Machiavelli warned that deception succeeds because people allow themselves to be deceived. Emotionally reactive individuals move from impulse, not intelligence. Emotional immunity is not the absence of feeling. It is the ability to remain steady while emotion burns beneath the surface. It is composure under pressure, silence amid provocation, calm where ordinary minds would fracture. A person without emotional control is like a house without walls. Every passing storm rearranges it. The disciplined mind builds invisible walls, not to block emotion, but to contain it. Anger, fear, envy, doubt, these are not enemies. They are signals. Emotional immunity begins with awareness. recognizing emotion without surrendering to it. That awareness transforms reaction into understanding. The one who feels anger but does not act gains insight into power dynamics. The one who senses fear but moves logically gains mastery over instinct. Machiavelli believed rulers should appear compassionate while remaining rational beneath the surface. Emotion must never rule strategy. In modern life, those who remain centered while others lose control gain influence effortlessly. When emotional fire is thrown, the calm individual becomes a mirror, reflecting instability back to its source. Emotional immunity absorbs chaos without projecting it outward. Manipulation feeds on reaction, and without reaction, manipulation starves. Every insult, betrayal, failure, and misunderstanding is an emotional trap. The immune mind studies them as data, extracting patterns instead of pain. This is not coldness, it is clarity protected by composure. Calmness under tension is engineered through restraint. Every silent response strengthens internal command. Over time, the emotionally immune individual sees through the theater of human behavior. When others shout, they listen. When others panic, they observe. That observation reveals motives, weaknesses, and truths hidden beneath emotion. Energy saved from reaction is redirected into progress. Machiavelli would have called this invisible dominance, appearing unaffected while quietly directing outcomes. Those who cannot be shaken become untouchable. The world bends to those who refuse to bend to it. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Calm never loses. Number 6. Sharpness builds respect. Sharpness is a language understood without words. In an age of noise, arrogance, and display, the individual who moves with precision, restraint, and composure becomes impossible to ignore. Respect is not popularity. It is silent authority. Machiavelli said it is better to be feared than loved if one cannot be both. Today, that fear is psychological, the discomfort felt around someone who cannot be provoked, influenced, or manipulated. Sharpness radiates power without aggression. The sharp mind does not chase validation. It creates its own standard. Every action is intentional, every silence deliberate. The world respects what it cannot read. When emotions remain hidden and thoughts unreadable, people approach with caution. Composure creates magnetism, not charisma, but mastery. Appearances shape power. The sharp individual reveals little and controls perception through restraint. Silence implies confidence. Calm suggests dominance. Precision commands respect. Others adjust their tone, their behavior, their energy. Respect becomes automatic. Boundaries are felt, not announced. Sharpness does not seek approval. It enforces it through presence alone. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Respect follows clarity. Number 7. Learn from mistakes. Mistakes are not failures. They are evidence of progress. Every error reveals what ego tried to hide. The weak run from mistakes. The strong dissect them. Pain is instruction. Machiavelli wrote that the wise act immediately, while fools delay. The difference is recognition, the ability to face mistakes, extract lessons, and convert them into strategy before weakness forms. Failure sharpens judgment. Each misstep exposes blind spots. The wise analyze patterns, reconstruct thinking, and ensure the same trap cannot close twice. Every scar becomes strategic memory. Misfortune is a teacher. Mistakes reveal where preparation was missing. Those who study their failures gain foresight. They stop fearing uncertainty because they understand themselves. This process demands ego death, responsibility without resentment. Power grows where delusion dies. Self-correction is intelligence in motion. Those who convert pain into power evolve faster and become resilient. The world worships noise, but sharpened minds move in silence. They remove distractions. They build clarity. Focus becomes dominance. True transformation begins when thought anticipates instead of reacts. When calm becomes armor. When discipline becomes instinct. That is the mind Machiavelli understood, one that bends chaos toward purpose. If this message awakened something in you, honor it through action. Stay the path. Share this with someone ready to evolve. Subscribe to a circle that sharpens the mind into a weapon of purpose. Remember this. A sharp mind cuts through everything. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. My mind is my greatest weapon.